It's time to review days 7 and 8 of the Firerock Brewing Advent Calendar. And let me tell you, these two beers sound like a doozy. Hello and welcome back to JD's Booze Reviews. Today we are trying, as I say, days 7 and 8 of the Firerock Advent Calendar. Makes sense to start with day 8, right? No, of course, we'll start with day 7. And just going back to the intro, I don't think I've ever said the word doozy out loud. Sounds very weird, but we'll stick with it. So let's get started with day 7. So we have for day 7, Maelstrom Peanut Butter Stout, a 8.5% peanut butter stout by Disruption is Brewing. So this Maelstrom is, from what I could see, a beer they've done before, but they do sort of different flavour profiles or different additions to it. And obviously this one is the peanut butter one. So I do love a peanut butter beer, and especially when it's at that percent. So let's get this poured into a glass and let's give it a smell, give it a taste, and let's try and go a little steady with it because we've still got the next one to go yet. Okay, so let's get this poured. I'll be slightly subtle with my pour. That is, a boozy nose. That's all I can say. That's not very boozy, very strong, heavy in the alcohol on first pour. Now I'm starting to get a nice aroma of nuts, a nutty finish, with obviously a chocolate hint. So very much smells as described. It's not smack in your face aroma. It's not like I can smell peanut butter in the next room, but on a glass, on a nose, up to the glass from a nose full, you could tell what this is. It is a sort of chocolate, peanut butter chocolate type beer. I mean, obviously the colour kind of would give that away as well, but you know what I mean. But yeah, very peanutty, chocolatey, boozy, which is exactly as it kind of says on the tin. So let's give us a try. I'm going to try and warm it up as we go along, but we'll see how we go. Oh, yeah. And the aroma is pretty much as the flavour gives. So yeah, you get hit with a very obvious hit of alcohol on the first on the first taste, sorry. It is 8.5%. You are going to taste the alcohol in this. But then that kind of makes way. I mean, it's very warming, as a strong alcohol beer would be. It's quite warming. But you do get this nice aroma and flavour of chocolate, of course. It's a stout. Not quite as coffee forward as some stouts. It's very light on the sort of coffee flavour. It's very much like milk chocolate with a hint of coffee. It's like a mocha, realistically. And then, there's this steady current of a nutty, peanut-like flavour. Not massively heavy, but actually, I don't mind that. I'm sometimes when I have peanut-based beers, I don't mind nuts, but if I couldn't have a bag full, like I couldn't go to a pub and order a bag of nuts and eat all of them to myself. I'd kind of be fed up of the nut flavour by the end. Is weird, but yeah, I have a tolerance for nuts. And this actually has got the right balance It's not too heavy on the nut. It's not too nutty, but it's enough to know that it's there. Oh, but that is a very nice high percentage stout. It's kind of everything I'd want it to be. Maybe some people might want it to be a bit more obvious that it's peanut butter. Sometimes that's a good thing, but I think in this case, for my personal preference, I'm kind of glad it's not, I was going to say something that probably would have been used against me at some point, but when it's a full flavour profile of nuts, it can be a little bit too much for me. This is nicely balanced, I think. Yeah, I'm getting everything I would want to know that it's a peanut butter stout in the mouth feel. In the flavour, in the, everything that I am putting in my mouth is a peanut butter stout. So, ticks there. Now, it might be that once this warms up a bit with higher percentage beers, the alcohol can sometimes mask the flavours until it's warmed up. This has kind of been out of the fridge a little bit, but not massively amounts. So it's still pretty cold. So maybe once those, the compounds get to sort of breathe a little bit once it's cooled down. I think that's science, not scientist. But yeah, so maybe the nut aroma would come for a bit more. I mean, I wouldn't know until it's warmed up. But it's why I kind of don't do a lot of really high percentage beers on the channel, because it's really hard to judge them in a 7-8 minute review, because unless I'm really forward planning, and sadly I'm not, to get them out of the fridge a bit earlier, it's hard to get the full nuances of them. I mean, if I was ordering this at a pub, I'd probably only have to be able to have half of it, half of it or whatever, three quarters, or 2/3, sorry. Then I'd sit here, sit in the pub, nice and chilled, and just slowly sip it. And as I go through the evening, I'd slowly start to pick up more and more. The cold snap eventually gives way to letting the aroma compounds through. So whilst I've been waffling, hopefully that's done a little bit to that. I mean, immediately I can smell more nut flavour, not aroma. I keep saying aroma and flavour in the same different context. But hopefully you know what I mean. Yeah, that's made its way. Yeah. That is getting more prominent in the nut flavour. Still not massively nut forward. But actually, again, I think it's nicely balanced between the chocolate, between the peanut butter, or the peanuts, without one of them shining over the other. It's very nicely balanced. That must be said. It must be said. Nice. So yeah, that is a really nice beer. Maybe not to everyone's liking, because it's not massively peanut forward, but like at least it's saying what it's describing. It's you can taste what it's describing. I hate when beers say the one thing and it doesn't quite live up to it. This definitely does. So with that said, let's go to catch up and get to today's beer. What was revealed in day 8 of the calendar. So we're sticking on the high percentage route, but we're in a completely different territory, and we are trying Jam de Boys, saying that awfully, a Belgian Revolution triple by Brasserie de la Seinne, based in Brussels, in Belgium. So this is a Belgian triple, basically. It is, 8%, and one of my plans for next year is to go on a bit of a Belgium road trip, and I think this is definitely going to get me in that mood. So let's get this poured and let's see how this one fares. So it's been the first day for a bottle opener in the advent calendar, but there are many more to come. Not quite as good of a pour that time, but we shall carry on. I mean, look at that head retention. That is, very, very nice. Oh, yeah, that is a really nice aroma. If you've never had a Belgian beer, like a Belgian triple, Belgian double, kind of smells a bit floral, a bit light, a bit sweet. It just, I don't know, there's beers that sort of take you to a place, and I feel like the flavour, the aroma and the smell of a Belgian beer weirdly invokes that. It smells very, fresh and light and clean and, floral, foresty, them kind of sort of vibes, all from sort of aroma. That's what I get, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one with how popular sort of Belgian beers are, and about the Belgian beer culture is known throughout the world for being pretty fantastic. Brasserie de la Seinne is a brewery I have wanted to, in fact, when I'm planning to go next year, that is a place I'm planning to do a tour of or a visit of, because that is one of the breweries that I do want to see, as well as some of the classics. I don't know how old they are, but they are fairly new to the Belgian brewery scene. But I'm getting, even now, I kind of get like a bubblegum like sort of aroma, like sweet and bubblegum. I wouldn't say it's floral, but it has sort of, almost like Parma. Maybe it's maybe it's more like Parma violets. Maybe it's more like a Parma violet-y sort of smell. So ignore me. Anyway, I've I've gone away from drinking this for far too long. So let's try it. Mad. Like, beautiful. I mean, what percent did I say? 8. So that's 8%, and the one we just tried was 8.5%. So a 0.5% difference. This beer does not present an 8% alcohol level to me. And I kind of get that with most Belgian beers. Somehow they manage to mask the alcohol. But like, I'm not getting that booziness. I'm not getting that, sort of. I've just had a really strong beer. I've had a really strong flavour, really strong high alcohol. I'm not getting that warming, burning flavour. I kind of get it at the back of my throat, very slightly towards the end. But the flavours I do get, are again very much as the aroma was sort of putting out. Getting light, sweet. Is that? I wish I could explain the sort of flavour profile of the Belgian beer better than I can. But it's very light and floral, slight bit of sort of it is like Parma Violet-y sort of floral nature, but just very light, very smooth. Yeah, that is an 8% beer that does not taste like 8%, which is the mind-blowing nature of this. I can tell when it gets to the end, but it's not like the beer before. Now, I'm not comparing, because we're not comparing on this advent calendar really, but I've just had it, so it's worth mentioning it. That 8.5% stout tasted very alcohol heavy at the forefront, as I mentioned when I was reviewing it. Very alcohol heavy at the front, whereas this is very alcohol at the back, which allows you to pick up the flavours and the subtleties and the aromas and the flavours and the profile of the beer before that alcohol level kicks in, which is a lot nicer than having to. Again, it'll still be the same, that letting this chill, warm up a little bit more, I'll get more out of it. But I have a pretty good understanding of this beer because I'm not being front loaded with the alcohol, like the percentage of what it is. Yeah, smooth, light, a bit malty. It's, yeah, a very, 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 very enjoyable beer. And with those two beers tonight, I am going to have a very chilled out and enjoyable evening. So that's going to do it for today for reviewing day 7 and day 8 of the Firerock Advent Calendar. Two great beers there, two very different beers, although they kind of, when we first looked at them, percentage are very similar. They may sort of taste very similar initially. It's quite interesting as a contrast to see how they differ and how they handle their percentages, like the alcohol. Like people really, different people handle their alcohol differently. And those two beers definitely handle their presentation of their percentage very differently. But that's going to do it for today. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to check out the next review when that drops tomorrow. And I will see you for that. Cheers.